So this is my website. I've had it since I was in school 13, 14 years ago now. I've been blogging on it, sharing my design work on it, doing many things. Currently, I have a blog. I have snippets, which are kind of a microblog type thing, short snippets of text, similar to what you might have in Threads or Twitter. I also have my design portfolio on here, and it's been working pretty well for me. This current iteration has been there since 2017, so 6 years now. It's worked pretty well. I'm pretty happy with a lot of elements of it. I really like this kind of halftone pattern on the homepage, this photo of myself. I like the blog. I think the design is clean. It's very readable. The typography is pretty good. There's a lot that I like about it. However, there's a few things that need some improvement. First is photography. I've gotten into photography quite a bit over the last few years, and there's not really a good way to feature photography on here. Second is my portfolio. I wanted to have a way to be more flexible and show off my design work in a better way. And then third is it's just time for a change. Like any other aesthetic field, design is not only about how it works, but it kind of goes through seasons. And so I felt like it's time to have a new season for my design work. So I'm going to walk you through how I came up with a new design, the implementation of it, and show you the new website. So in order to get started with designing the new website, I kind of turned to some interface concepts that I have been working on recently that relied on older computers, terminal interfaces, as well as grid notepaper. So I had some kind of ideas here, like you can see, of kind of a grid paper / text-heavy, text-driven terminal interface. And so some of those initial concepts were what gave me the ideas of the direction to take. And so once I was in there, I started, once I kind of had those ideas, I turned to what I usually do, which is drawing layout ideas, different grids that might work for the project, and then as well just how I kind of wanted to speak about myself on the website. How do I sum up my interests and my experience as a designer and my writing, and so just kind of some word association and sequencing, and along with the sketches, that was how I started. And then I started doing a design, and so I had it uses a monotype typeface, similar to a lot of the writing tools that I use, and so this is the home page, and it has some stuff that didn't end up on the final project, but here's the home page. And I started diving into different sections and imagining how they might look. So here, for example, is the blog listing section with just the titles and some big fat buttons at the bottom for navigating between the pagination of the posts. And I started thinking about what would it be like to navigate the work section. I thought, well, we could add in some more information here, so that you can get some more context instead of just an image about what each project was. But it just seemed like kind of busy, and there was a lot there. So I decided to take a more streamlined approach where you can where you have like a side scrolling experience as you can like page through the different designs. You get like a big nice image, some details, but you have one thing to focus on at a time. And then when you click in there, you would have a longer page where you could dig into the different parts of a project. And you can embed videos in here and do things like that. And then this is, now I'm exposing tags. So exploring what it would be like to be able to show just results, just the projects based on their tag. Then I started diving into like the snippet section. These are the microblog type content. This is pretty spare. It's just about getting the content onto the page. I find that, sometimes you just got to throw something on the page and see what it is before you can even start playing around with it. I thought, well, maybe we could take some of that side scrolling experience into this, where you have different snippets and sections and side scroll through them. The image, maybe more of a card format, and then the images. How can I display those a little bit better? You can see down at the bottom, I'm kind of playing around with like pagination versus side scrolling. Maybe you need both. How would you integrate the two? Different card ideas. And then this is what an actual, like if you click into the permalink for post, what could that be like? Big bold text since it's pretty short, and then an image below. And then I kind of started settling on the cards that I wanted, but the pagination thing was still an issue. So, let's simplify it. We put the pagination in the same side scrolling piece, the same side scrolling container. As you scroll through your through the snippets. What if we just put them at the end? What if it was a big fat button at the end? So there's a lot of different options here. And then what if it was kind of like a masonry style grid where you scroll through? Not a lot of order here. What should I be looking at? There's a lot of text to be doing this kind of thing with. So what I ended up deciding to go with was something kind of like this. And so I'll show you what that ended up being like in the end. And then I moved on to the blog posts. And I kind of had a pretty clear idea right off the bat what I wanted to do here. And then the images. How can I show the photographs in a different way? So I kind of have this grid of this masonry style grid of photographs as you go down the page, and it's just showing images. If you click on one, then you can see it big. It'll take up the entire screen. You can get some of the data about that image if you want it. By clicking that view EXIF stuff, that's EXIF is a format of photograph data, so like camera lens, shutter speed, all that kind of stuff. And then one thing that I'd never done before is really like a robust search on the site. And so this was kind of what it would be like to search for something and get results back in all these different types of content. So, and as this went on, I started kind of consolidating a color palette, a lot of grays to kind of really let photographs pop off the grays with the branding element in purple, because I love purple. I've always loved purple. Then I started looking at what would dark mode look like. What would, how could we take this for dark mode? I know all of my devices switch to a dark mode at a certain time of day after the sun goes down. And so that's kind of the design. The cool thing about implementing this stuff myself is, I can kind of get, I got like about, I'd say like 65 to 75% there with the designs of getting them how I liked them. And then I could dive right into coding because I can make those final decisions actually in code. And so it's a pretty handy way to work. It's a way that I've found pretty helpful, so that you can get a real good idea of what you want, but it doesn't have to be exact. And then you go in and you make your final decisions actually in code, which is the medium that all this stuff is delivered in. So we'll show you the results in a minute. So this is the final website. The cool thing about being able to kind of build everything as you go, like I mentioned before, is that I'm able to make a lot of the final decisions actually in code as I go. So here we have the home page. Welcome to my menagerie. I have a little introduction about myself, and then kind of about the type of work I've done. The cool thing now that we've got everything tagged is you can click on any of these links here and get like an assortment of projects that illustrate that. So design and build compelling experiences on the web and in mobile apps. Let's click on mobile apps. There we go. We've got mobile apps that I've worked on, and you can swipe through them. And then let's go back. So and then at the bottom, we've got the search experience that you can search for things in. It's at the bottom of every page in the site. So let's go in. Let's dive into what posts are. You can see I made some decisions later on that, hey, I don't need to. I can have an excerpt for all the posts here, and then I can go back through older ones. And then if you click on one, we've got kind of this grid with the title off to the side, and then like a share button and things like that. And down at the bottom, similar to what we had in the work section, you can also now click on tags within blog posts, and you'll be able to see a listing of all the blog posts that have that tag. One of the things I loved, you can see here on the right, custom CSS scroll bars, so that it's not the system default scroll bar, but it kind of really fits in with this kind of technological, really computer aesthetic. You can have these scroll bars on the side. Another thing that I just love is my little logo thing up here in the corner. I don't have the llama anymore, but I've got this kind of circle in a square, and you've got the circle when you hover over it. This links back to home, but you can also see this cool animation going as you circle. CSS animations are great. All right, let's move on to snippets. Snippets are, like I said before, like the short micro blogging content. This is syndicated out to Mastodon and to Twitter and to everywhere else that I like to look at stuff. And you can swipe through them right here. And then let's get to the end. Some of them have photos, and the cool thing is about the photos is I've set it up so everywhere there's a photo in the site, you can click on it and it will load and you can look at it large. And then once you get to the end, I decided in the end to have the pagination be these buttons up on the side. And so if I click on this, it loads some older ones, and I've got a button to go back to newer snippets, or I can scroll to the end and get to the older snippets. All right, let's move on to the designs. So what I have here is, a single project. You can swipe, see a single project, and just go through like that. So let's click on this cognitive scale. You can see here, once the image loads in, that I've got projects. There it is. You can, a lot more details I can write in, and it's not just a bunch of images. And I'm planning on doing kind of video walkthroughs of some of these projects, similar to what I'm recording now, that I'm going to stick right at the top there. All right, and so now let's go to the picture section. One of the so you can see here the layout's a little bit different than what I designed. And this is the great thing about web standards. So that grid masonry thing where everything kind of like shuffles up under each, taking up all the available space, that is usually accomplished with JavaScript. I don't like to use a lot of JavaScript if I can help it on a site like this, because it just causes performance issues and it's a dependency. And so for my personal sites, I like to just stick with the CSS conventions as often as I can. But sometimes it's kind of disappointing that you can't quite get the thing you want without a lot of JavaScript. But really, it's about an approach. And so the approach I've taken here is using CSS. I can serve this layout, but there is that masonry thing coming to CSS soon. And so here I'm going to switch to a browser that supports it. This is a future version of Safari that's in beta testing right now, and you can see this same page has that cool layout. And so as time progresses and other browsers start supporting this, it will just automatically, all the browsers, as soon as they support this masonry layout, will get this. That's one of the cool things about the web. So if you click on an image, let's click on this guy. You can see it big. You can get some of those details about the shot there, and then you can close it. So that is my new website. I'm sure there's things that I'm going to do to add to it, but overall, I'm pretty pleased with the project so far. And yeah, thank you.